What's up? This is your host Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible today and Non-Fungible tomorrow. And first thing first, today is definitely gonna be a very volatile day. I have been tweeting this a few times about the Fed announcement on how they're gonna tackle inflation. So that is definitely gonna affect the whole market. But it seems like we do have a really rally right now of people buying more stocks and stuff like that ahead the Fed announcement. So it seems like some people might say the bottom has been priced in, but at the same time, there's a lot of FUD within the crypto space where I would like to share more with you. But before I begin, I'm actually doing an NFT Mint Pass giveaway. So for those of you who do not know, Genuine Human Art, he's the pixel art artist who came to my channel before, is doing his generative banner. And his generative banner is going to be minted next Monday. So I am fortunate enough to have one of his one-of-ones, so therefore I have a mint pass. So I'm giving away a mint pass because I have an extra one, and I do seriously want to give away the mint pass to someone who believes and who likes his art, right? So if you are interested, feel free to check out the link below. I'm doing a giveaway, and so what you do is just follow both of us, like, retweet, tag friends, watch the YouTube video. So the link is in the comment below. And also subscribe, comment on the video why you like the art, and then I will choose one on this Friday. So it will be a 2 days giveaway. And yeah, and the reason why I'm so excited about this is that his art is seriously really good. Okay, he is the one who taught me how pixel art itself could really convey a lot of emotions, right? And at the same time, I did a thread about my thoughts and how they built the whole thing organically. So he has like 10,000 followers already. Everything was organic. Even the co-founder of Azuki, the artist himself, I think, is also following his project, right? So definitely, I think this is worthwhile to look at if you are here for the art and if you want to collect something that looks really nice, right? So that's the first thing. Next thing is I did this thread saying that this is the actually your point of view, right? So first of all, I want to create this for comic relief, but at the same time really speaks to me because right now it seems that retail crypto traders are very nervous, right? Because a lot of companies, a lot of VCs are over leveraged, and you're not sure that if it will cause another bear market crash, right? So but I've seen this video just recently, and it's just it's just so relatable, right? So I just added the caption, but jokes aside, I think it's an amazing thing how humanity is able to save the animals, how they're able to support them. So for those of you who do not know, today if you look at below, I made my screen smaller so you can see the screen, but at the same time if you look at below, there's actually crypto tickers, right? So I'm trying to add more graphics, make this more interactive, like a different type of graphics and stuff like that. So I hope you like it. And at the same time, let us go to the news today, right? So my video is titled, if you are using OpenSea, this is a video that you have to watch. And the reason for this is that yesterday OpenSea announced that they're officially moving to the Seaport protocol, right? We estimate that the new contract will save 460 million plus in total fees each year, but that's not all. Let's go through the update, right? So what happened is that right now OpenSea is moving to like a new protocol, and moving to that new protocol, they have implemented some updates. For example, there's no longer that initialization fee where you have to pay when you create a wallet and you want to buy an NFT, right? So right now, at the same time, you can actually give collection and offers, right? So you can now make offers on item in an entire collection, right? So there is no setup fee, okay? So in addition to saving 35% in gas per transaction, you will no longer have to pay a one-time setup fee to start using OpenSea. So this is great. This is definitely helpful for adoption. And at the same time, they are building new features like listing many NFTs in one transactions and stuff like that, right? So just to briefly go through this, if you look at this, okay, so today we're excited to announce Seaport, a brand new Web3 marketplace protocol for safety and efficiently buying and selling NFTs, right? So basically, according to this article, there's a deep dive. So what happened is that, most current NFT marketplace only allow listing where one party agrees to supply an NFT and the other agrees to supply a payment token, right? So right now, Seaport would take a different approach, right? Offers can agree to supply a number of ETH, ERC20 token 7211155 item. This is the offer, right? And in order for that offer to be accepted, a number of items must be received by the recipient indicated by the offer. This is the consideration, right? So right now, there is more flexibility in terms of the offer on OpenSea, okay? And so a lot of details, and now they're trying to build things open source, and then there's going to be audit, right? So I think this is a great thing. And for those of you who do not know, actually OpenSea acquired Gem XYZ a while back, right? And I do think that to a certain extent they're going to use Gem XYZ's feature in OpenSea. So I think it would, create more value to OpenSea in general, which definitely is a positive thing, because a lot of people use OpenSea if they are trading on, the Ethereum chain, right? So at the same time, in terms of the collection offer, right? Let me show you what it looks like, right? So we go to OpenSea right now. Say for example, right now, if you are interested in buying, like if you don't want to snipe certain NFTs, right? But you want to make an offer, what you can do is, like, for example, you could go to a collection like Goblin Town, right? But right now, what you can do is, because all of these Goblins have different type of traits, right? Now they have something called make collection offer. So once you click on this, so I didn't log in right now, right? But basically it means it will allow you to create an offer from a set period of time and then you can select which traits you want to have an offer, right? So for example, oh, I want this egg to be a certain trait, and I will offer like 5 web Ethereum for that, and it would be an offer for that, and anyone can accept it if they have that specific trait. So I think in general this is really cool, but definitely check out for more updates in terms of the Seaport protocol. And I think it's a great thing, because they are gonna sorry, they are going to save the community a lot of gas. So no longer the money is being put to gas, but it is really for the transactions and stuff like that. So definitely looking forward to see this. So today, as I said, today's market will be very rocky, but at the same time we do see some relief in the EU. European market climbs ahead of Fed rates decision. ECB holds emergency meeting. Asian market was kind of positive before it ended. The market closed. Pre-market quite positive. I mean, we are seeing green, but it doesn't mean that by the closing of the market it will dump, right? Or it doesn't mean when the Fed starts to announce that, oh, it is, they're gonna increase interest rate by 75% basis point, like 0.75. Then it would tank the market, right? So there is a lot of FUD involved. So what happened is that the ECB. So today you have the ECB, which is the European Central Bank, come together and talk about how they're gonna tackle the current economy right now, because everything is in shambles, right? But at the same time, the Fed is gonna announce the result, and a lot of people are saying it's gonna be very aggressive, and therefore it explained that why cryptocurrency, why traditional equities and stuff like that has dumped a lot, right? So but now we have, it is always interesting, right? It is always interesting to see how right before this announcement there is a relief pump, but afterwards how the market will do. That's why it is gonna be very rocky, right? It's gonna be very volatile. So if we look at coin market cap today, right now, as I said yesterday and 2 days ago, the total global crypto market cap is below 1 trillion. So it means that the money did leave. So now we're at 0.9 trillion. So there is a 3.88% decrease. Bitcoin is at 21,000, Ethereum is at 1,113. So yeah, like things are not looking good, right? As I always say, if stable coins are in the top few, like top 10, it means that people are holding stable coins, right? So if we look at this, because of certain relief rally just now, we have some certain tokens in the green, but in general it is a sea of red. If we look at the market cap, right now, we are at a very low point right now. So it means that definitely the money has been evaporated or has left the market. If we look at on-chain data, yesterday it was quite scary for me, because on-chain data, both of these indicators for Ethereum was red, which means that there's a huge selling pressure. But right now it seems that exchange net flow is slightly positive, but then exchange reserve is negative. So if you look at Ethereum, because right now I'm mainly tracking Ethereum. If you look at Ethereum now, the inflow, like the exchange reserve, like the Ethereum on the exchanges, has kind of steadied a little bit, right? But one thing that really had me concerned is that if you look at the total inflow and outflow for Ethereum, let's look at summary. If we look at the exchange net flow total, right? So now it's a slight green, and the reason for that is that because some Ethereum is leaving the market. Oh, now we're back in green. So basically what happened is that in the past few days, whales or people are moving a lot of Ethereum to exchanges, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainty. So if today's announcement is negative, people keep dumping this, or if certain liquidations were to happen, people would dump the Ethereum, and then it would, you know, create further pressure on Ethereum, and maybe a 3-digit Ethereum is definitely on the table. So definitely be careful. And there is an article supporting this, which is biggest Bitcoin exchange inflow since 2018, put potential 20,000 bottom at risk, right? Traders are nervous, data suggests, and a further drop could spark a chain reaction as exchange users rush to liquidate the BTC holdings. So another reason why a lot of crypto is moving to the exchanges is that people are saying that a lot of people are playing with leverage and they need to have collateral in order to not be liquidated. So that is also a very serious thing, which I'm going to talk about shortly. So major exchanges finished up 83,000 Bitcoin in a single day, right? So basically, a lot of crypto is in the exchanges. So in the past, you know, FTX, Binance, particularly heavy selling in anticipation for today, right? So this is not from CryptoQuant, but it's also from a similar platform, which I think is for Glassnode, CoinGlass, okay? So it does show that a lot of you know, crypto is coming and the funding rates are negative, right? So, you know, we are on a thin Fed right now. There's a huge chance to see a huge jump. And at the same time, the bank run for DeFi has happened. If we look at this, right? Look at DeFi. We have a further leg down, right? And the reason for this is that because we are talking about, you know, Celsius. We're talking about, you know, 3 hours capital, right? You know, Celsius itself is related to DeFi, right? A lot of swap market making and stuff like that. So once we see people leaving DeFi, it means that there is a bank run happening, right? There is, you know, money, you know, people are trying to get out as soon as possible, right? So this is definitely alarming, even though we have a relief rally right now for the Ethereum and Bitcoin. So let us, before moving on to a quick NFT overview market, I want to show you this video, which is quite interesting, and it is Bill Gates. He kind of shared this like a few hours ago about his thoughts on NFTs, right? So basically, you know, this is not new. Bill Gates did share his view with regards to cryptocurrency on not seeing the real life value, which I also covered in the past. And this is him talking about, basically he's just implying that, oh, Bored Ape Yacht Club itself is not creating a lot of real life value, right? Oh, so you can't hear, oh, hi JD, welcome. You can't hear Bill Gates low. Okay, interesting, because supposedly I think the audio was working. But basically, he was just saying that, oh, Bored Ape Yacht Club, you know, these very multi-million expensive JPEGs aren't, you know, creating real life value, and that he's not long or short, you know, NFTs, but he would prefer maybe like farmland or something like that in order to like things that really create real life value. Okay, so this is what he's saying, and I don't think he is wrong in a certain extent. But then I do believe that NFT itself has a cultural value. That and also the idea of intellectual property, because you know, culture itself or content creation itself is a kind of business, right? It is an intangible business. It is a GM, yeah. It is a you know, there's a lot of brand related value in that, right? So I think he's not really looking into that aspect, but you know, this is just his take on you know, cryptos and NFTs as well. So I would have to fix my audio for the desktop. Can you can hear nothing at all, or is it very soft? You know, JD, you can let me know in the comments. I'm reading your comments. Thank you for being here. But right now, I'll quickly talk about you know, the crypto markets. Okay. If we look at the market, I will say it is kind of a mixed market. If you look at this, right, the last 24 hours trading, you know, high volume is Illuminati, right? The reason for that is basically, you know, the Goblin team is actually the team behind Truth. Okay, so the Truth team is the team that created the Illuminati NFT. So that's why you do see a huge, you know, 24 hours percentage change. But in general, all the percentage change, all the NFTs are kind of hovering sideways. So it is not really positive for the market in general. So you know, we'll have to see. But if we look at the market, you know, the NFTs and Ethereum, it is kind of like a you know, the market is really shaky, right? Some you know, we have some buying pressures at the same time because people think these are really good entry prices. But I do believe that if the Ethereum value keeps going down, then there's a huge risk. So okay, no audio in the clip I play. Let me try again, okay? All right, I hope it worked this time. But anyways, I would move on in terms of the NFT. You know, volume itself is kind of really trading sideways if we look at Ethereum and Solana. But at the same time, we did have a drop in terms of the sales amount, which actually thinking back, it is not a really fair indicator because this is in fiat volume. I mean, in fiat value, right? But in general, everything is kind of trading really sideways because the market itself is very nervous. You know, if we look at this, if we look at this is a better trend that we can see. OpenSea is kind of, you know, downwards, but a slight uptick. So yesterday there was some new acquisitions for different type of projects because certain floor prices have really did tank, right? Okay, really low sound now. Okay, barely hear it. Okay, never mind. I will double check it later, but I'll continue the stream. But if you look at this, you know, people are more and more people are making losses right now in terms of you know, the NFT investments, right? So if I said it a few weeks ago, if more and more people make losses in NFT investment, it means that the volume would become even lower and lower, and then the floor price would go even lower and lower because you know, secondary market is kind of illiquid, right? So yeah, that is you know, basically the NFT market right now. I do see some you know, increase in terms of the you know, the volume, like a slight increase, but still the market itself is very shaky. So moving on to our, you know, daily news. The first news is actually about, you know, stake Ether becomes focus of crypto stress from Celsius to 3 hours. Okay, so what happened is that today, you know, there is talk about 3 hours VAC becoming insolvent, right? So what happened is that, so for example, what happened is that, okay, let me skip this. So basically, first of all, 3AC collapse is monumental. Okay, so 3AC is actually a VC firm, a VC company that has a huge portfolio. Okay, this is because they borrow from every single major lender. Think BlockFi, Genesis, Nexo, Celsius, right? Expect every lender to take on a hit from 3AC. So if this huge VC dumps, right, a lot of lenders are going to be affected. So as I said, DeFi, a lot of money has left DeFi in the past few days. And it means that people are running, you know, for the exit, right? The last public number for VAC's asset was tagged as 18 billion, right? I strongly suggest that the real NAV to be much lower than that. Okay, so I think, you know, NAV is kind of like a net asset value, okay? So there are rumors of them pledging the Deribit stake even though they have already disposed of it economically, okay? So let us use 18 billion, assume that 9 billion of its MTM VC portfolio, 9 billion of it is liquid, right? So it means half of it is liquid, okay? Assuming that you know, all of that was in the safest Bitcoin, right? Okay, so they have investment in L1 which died terribly, right? So from November 21 till now, the liquid you know, position would have been drawn close to 70%. Okay, so liquid PF would be worth 2.7 billion at best. So basically, what they're saying is that you know, the VC firm itself is having less and less liquidity. Okay, all right. Which matches the report in the street that they're unable to meet their margin calls. So because the market kept dumping, maybe they were longing it, okay? Maybe they were bullish on stuff. They are unable to pay off these, you know, margin calls, right? So they would become liquidated, right? So not being able to meet a margin call is a death knell of all hedge funds, crypto or TradeFi. They all report them trying to use Starkwave equity as collateral, but I guess you can call it stuckware, right? VAC is one of the biggest borrower client for the lenders globally. The collapse will transfer the economic risk to the lenders, okay? The lenders will bear the P&L, profit and loss difference between how much they are owed versus how they get in liquidating the collaterals, okay? These lenders are ill prepared. They operate a 10/20 billion balance sheet with about 5% equity buffer, which means that the default will cause significant equity erosion. Not all lenders are made equal. Celsius as a word has gone from under Nexus, I don't know, BlockFi is pretty bad and blah, 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 okay? So he's saying that a lot of DeFi lenders are going to be affected if, VAC gets, liquidated, right? So what this means is that lender will protect themselves by withdrawing credit from the system. All the lenders probably have about 50 billion estimated in loan creation. I expect 30 to 40 of credit to be destroyed, loans to be recalled, and credit to be shrunk, okay? Basic math, when credit leaves the system, there's less money overall, less money for the same amount of coin price down. Okay, so what he's trying to imply is that the market right now is very over collateralized, right? It is over leveraged, right? So a lot of these numbers are highly inflated numbers, okay? A lot of the prices are highly inflated prices. So when we have Celsius that might have a chance, and actually today there was an article, there was a Bloomberg Terminal News saying that Celsius has hired a liquidation, like a what's it called, like a lawyer to maybe help them close, like to file for bankruptcy, that type of stuff. So bankruptcy might be on the table right now, right? So I'm not financial advice, do your own research, but I've seen that, something on Twitter about that. What it means is that things will go down, right? So when credit is removed, the overall balance sheet of every single player swings because risk asset are marked down. So in terms of fiat value, right? If this thing really goes under, all the cryptocurrency has a chance, not only because of the Fed's announcement, right? It is because of the liquidation of certain big players. Everything will go down under because they have to pay off their over leverage, right? And by then we will see how over leveraged they are and how much it will affect everything, right? So in essence, the collapse of a major fund and a major lender will swing over credit in the system and lead to continued deleveraging, right? So far, we have had an orderly liquidation, but more people need to deliver still. So price-wise, honestly, no idea, but we will probably need the big casino owners to step in. So basically what they're saying is that, the big funds will kind of, bail them out or whatever. But if nobody step in, we might see prices going below 10K Bitcoin. So this is his, speculation, right? After all, we have the perfect storm for one-up, QE, etc. Now we have the perfect storm for major leveragings across all financial asset, rate hike and QT, quantitative easing, inflation. Okay, so basically a lot of DeFi related risk is happening. A lot of but DeFi related risk, and not in terms of the protocol or hack, right? But in terms of liquidity, in terms of the money in the market to go around, who is ending up holding the bags, right? So definitely that is a huge concern. So interestingly, I saw this today, someone shared with me, and this is actually a betting platform where you provide liquidity and bet whether Celsius would announce bankruptcy by July 13. So you provide liquidity, and then if it does, but the smart contract would basically give you the winnings, right? So it's interesting to see a lot of people, betting that there's a chance, because the bet outcome, if it goes under, right, it's cheaper than the no price, right? So basically people are betting that Celsius might file bankruptcy, okay? Interesting to see that, right? So this is similar to what I just said. So basically, everything started out when the stake Ether, in the Lido protocol, had a price gap, right? So that's why Celsius has to cash out. They are making a lot of losses and stuff like that. So with ETH 2.0 being more and more delayed, it's gonna escalate this whole thing, right? Because stake Ether is still a thing, right? So this is actually what I covered a while back. So they are saying that, the stake Ether discount is becoming better. Like there is a huge and huger discount. But at the same time, people who were involved in stake Ether, the money, like 3 Hours Capital, they were actually involved in stake Ether as well, right? They were also one of the biggest investors in the Terra blockchain. So it means they have suffered loss already, right? So it means that things are gonna get more crazy, right? Because of the stake Ether. Everything started with this stake Ether, right? Which I covered a while back. I'm not gonna go into detail, but basically the too long did not read is because kind of what happened was Celsius is trying to give their yields to the users of the Celsius app, and the yields is actually taken from stake ether. But because the trading pair of stake ether with ETH kind of depeg, which caused Celsius to kind of pay out of pocket, right? They're making a loss because of the difference in value when people cash out, right? So that's why people were saying that, oh, Celsius are having some liquidity issues, causing it to start a bank run. So that's basically similar to what happened. And now it seems that another VC is now affected, right? So next news is interesting. It's that Goblin Town, the team, they doxed themselves, right? But I find it very interesting because where I'm from, the company Lee Kam K, right? So Lee Kam K, this is the Lee Kam K company, right? It is a Chinese Hong Kong bred, Hong Kong local sauce company, right? It's interesting to see Goblin, the Goblin Town to come up with merch, not t-shirt, but this time Goblin sauce, right? Produced in partnership. So this is a partnership with Lee Kam K. So I do think that the Goblin team may be to a certain extent is related to Lee Kam K, right? Because out of the blue, why, out of so many merchandise that you can do, why do you decide to make a sauce, and especially with such like a very local Hong Kong brand? But this brand is actually quite well known, so it is a very well known sauce brand here in Hong Kong. So it's interesting to see this pair, right? So next news, MicroStrategy. Okay, we talked about Celsius, we talked about free AC. The next thing is actually about MicroStrategy, right? But MicroStrategy said nothing is wrong, right? So he struck up margin calls concern as Bitcoin dips to 21,000, right? So basically, MicroStrategy faces a margin call on a 205 million loan if Bitcoin falls further under, right? But MicroStrategy claims that the company is ready to hold off through adversity. So what happened is that if MicroStrategy does have a liquidation event, they will be forced to show hand, right? It's kind of like poker, like a flush, right? They would be forced to sell the asset. And once they sell the asset, which is basically Bitcoin, it would drive the market down. But MicroStrategy is saying that, oh, they have enough liquidity to, protect against the, the borrowing, so that they would not be margin called, right? So, they're saying that, okay, so earlier this morning, the price of Bitcoin briefly slipped below 21,000, okay? So right now, if we look at Bitcoin, let us see the price right now, 21,396, okay? So what happened was that, it slipped below 21,000, okay? And then before recovering the price to 22,000, right? So the price drop marks a significant line in the sand for MicroStrategy, which took out a 205 million loan in March from Silvergate Bank to stockpile Bitcoin. If BTC falls and stay below 21,000, so 21,000, if you are trading actively, if you are in the market, 21,000 is a price range to look at, right? The event will trigger a margin call of MicroStrategy's loan, a potentially dangerous, disastrous event that will require the company to offload tens of thousands of Bitcoin onto the already bearish market. Okay? So MicroStrategy said, oh, don't worry, we have a strategy, we will hold up through adversity, right? So, but still, if they get margin called, it would definitely affect the market, right? So if we look at this, let us look at TradingView right now. If we look at it in 15 minutes, okay? Look at this. Something is happening, right? Bitcoin was going to 20,000-ish, okay? It was dumping a bit, and then immediately the buying pressure was so high, right? Of course, in the equities market was going up, right before the Fed announcement. But this is weird, right? This is like a very weird thing because the downward pressure was actually quite high. People were anticipating it to go down, but suddenly at this point it pumps up, right? So definitely, I believe this is like a power play between a lot of whales. So that's why the market is gonna be more and more volatile. People trying to liquidate each other and stuff like that. Okay, so next news, SEC reportedly launches investigation into insider trading on exchanges. So, SEC is gonna really look into this. They're gonna look at insider trading and see, and also in the past, allegations of insider trading at the largest non-fungible token marketplace, OpenSea has caught the attention of SEC as well, right? So one of the staff at OpenSea was actually being charged as well, or, being investigated. So it shows that regulators are, looking into this. And I do believe that because there's so much money, right? There's so much money at stake, and these tokens, could pump so high in the past few months. Definitely, some people might have taken advantage of this, right? So it is now interesting to see regulators to look into this, right? So next news, crypto firms have laid off more than 1,500 people in the last 2 months as downturn fear persists, right? So numerous crypto firms have moved to cut their employees count in recent months. More than 1,500 people have been affected by moves, right? So the reason why I wanted to share this with you is that, look, see BlockFi, Bitfinex, right? The reason why I want to share with you is that, you know, these crypto firms are actually companies with a lot of trading data, right? They know a lot of things about, you know, how the consumer are trading, whether the volume is here or leaving, whether the money is still here, and so on, right? So they always would work 3 steps ahead, right? So if crypto firms are laying off a lot of people, of course, Binance are hiring, and you have another firm that's hiring, but it basically shows that they forecast that the future, at least in the next 1 year or maybe next 6 months, you know, let's say quarter, right? In the next quarter, is not gonna be positive for crypto in general, right? So my question would be, if you have cash on the sideline, is this the last lowest point that we can have, right? For example, is this the last, like, we'll no longer see a lower Bitcoin, right? To be honest, I think the downward pressure is higher, okay? It's even higher than an upward pressure, right? Because the market is, a lot of money has left the market, right? We have to wait maybe another very bullish catalyst for this to happen, right? So I would say that trade safe, but I do see a larger downward trend happening, not because of technical analysis or whatever, but because of the moves that these companies are doing, right? They must have known something in order to, you know, you see a lot of news saying cutting, you know, fluctuations and stuff like that, right? They must have known something before, you know, doing these layoffs, right? Because it's expensive to hire people and it's more expensive to terminate them, right? And also maybe their growth previously was too fast, okay? So what goes up too quickly would come down very quickly. So that's it. You know, the US market is now opened. Let us quickly have a look at the US market. But today would be a very volatile day. You know, stock climbs at Wall Street prepares for Fed rate hike, okay? Interesting, okay? So people could say that, oh, you know, the low has been accounted for. Now we're at the very, very low before this 75 basis point rate hike, right? But I do want to share with you in this video is that it is not only just the Fed announcement that could create downward pressure, right? The EU is planning to pass regulation to regulate crypto, and tell me that would not create short-term downward pressure, right? So there's a lot of factors at play. So don't invest your whole, you know, life savings right now in this dip. Definitely, there's still a lot of factors at play. So this is your host, Non-Fungible TC, signing out.